Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. And welcome to Romley Garage, High Peak Autos HQ. It's been about 3 months since I've done a garage tour, and the stock has changed quite a lot. There are sadly still a few cars here, which you'll remember from last time, but most have changed. So I thought today, I'll give you a quick tour. First one then is the 2011 Jaguar XKR convertible. We've had this for 10 months. We've had it for a long time and I don't know why. It's only done 55,000 miles. It's a 5-litre supercharged V8. I actually run one of these myself, a black one, and love it. I don't really know why it hasn't sold. We had a few inquiries on it. In fact, we had one last week where the guy failed finance, so it would have sold, I suppose, had it not been for that. So hopefully coming into spring, it should sell. Saying that, I said that last year. Over here then is my 2015 AMG GTS. Now I've got a separate video on that for you coming soon, because I do have an update. I can't tell you, can't reveal it yet. Over there, now this is more just storage. It's a Porsche 911. That belongs to my colleague and it's just in here out of the weather for the winter. Over here then we've got a 2014 Golf GTI. It's a 3-door, it's manual, which is quite nice. It's good fun to drive that. That I think that was here last time as well. I'm not really sure why that hasn't sold. I think it's only done 40,000 miles. It's got loads of service history and it's quite a nice spec. Over here behind me then is my 1999 BMW Z3 2-litre. Now I did a video with this. I bought it probably 6 months ago. Massively overspent on it. Put a new roof on it, took it up to the Z shed over in Warrington. He went through it, fixed the roof, all that sort of stuff. Put a new aerial on so I could listen to music. And then when it was all ready and sorted, we found a buyer for it. Now that's actually sold. We're just waiting for the buyer to come and collect it. The only thing that's holding it up is a new accelerator cable. I can't get one anywhere. They're all on back order. I've ordered 2 now from BMW, hoping that, one might come before the other. As soon as that's done, he's going to come and pick it up. Oh, the 3 on the road have changed as well. Let me talk to you about these. So we've got a late 2005 SLK 200. We supplied that to the previous owner and the previous owner before that. So we do know that car very well. My mum had one of those for a few years and she loved it. Behind me then is a brown Vauxhall Mokka. Doesn't get more exciting than that, does it? Do you want to know the actual colour name? The colour name is Espresso Brown. There you go. We'd actually sold that last week and again the customer failed on finance, so it's back for sale. It does happen quite often, this. And then last but not least is my 2004 Chrysler Crossfire 3.2 and it's a manual. Quite an unusual car that. I've had no interest in it at all, which is weird because I thought it'd be quite desirable. I took that in part exchange on my gold Mercedes S-Class that I drove up to John O'Groats in, thinking that, it'd just be a change of stock. But nobody seems to share my enthusiasm. I don't know why, but I think they're a bit controversial. I always thought they were a good looking thing. Maybe not. What do I know? Shall we head outside then, brave the elements? I'll give you a tour of the forecourt. Let's go. There's one more car to mention in the showroom actually. That's my 2014 Vauxhall Mokka. Now the only reason that's inside is because it's just had a valet and the seats are still damp, so I thought I'd leave it inside, let it dry out, and then tomorrow I can park on the forecourt. That's the 1.7 litre turbo diesel engine, which is an old Isuzu unit. They're quite agricultural, quite reliable, but a bit coarse. It might not be particularly glamorous, but that's the sort of stuff we sell day in, day out. So we've just got a forecourt full of that kind of stuff. Before we continue, I just want to say a big thank you to today's video sponsor. Today's video is sponsored by Squarespace. From websites to online stores to marketing tools to analytics, Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build and run your business. We're currently building a new website for the online store. I just want to make it look more professional and, I guess, cooler. And crucially, I want it to be easy to use both on a desktop and on your smartphone. So if you need a website for your business, and I think you really must these days, I know it can seem like a really daunting task, but thanks to Squarespace, it doesn't have to be. All you need to do is head over to squarespace.com/highpeakuautos, or alternatively click the link below in the video description, and you'll get 10% off your first website or domain name. Now have a look at this. Creating a website with Squarespace couldn't be easier. There are loads of different templates to choose from. Once you've chosen your template, you can edit and change what your website looks like just by dragging and dropping photos and your own logos and fonts and colours and that sort of thing. It really is as easy as that. It's looking great so far. We've only spent about an hour and a half on it, but it's taking shape. All I need to do next is figure out how to connect my Autotrader system to it. Before you know it, you've got yourself a professional looking, personalised website like this. Make sure you use the promo code HighPeakAutos for 10% off your first website or domain name. Right, let's carry on with this tour. As you can see, we're completely packed out with stock at the moment. So, where should we start? The Audi A8 then. This isn't the same one as featured in the last garage tour. That was a 2017 Audi A8. That's now sold, but we bought this one. This is a late 2012 Audi A8, but it's a 3-litre petrol, which is quite rare. This one's only done 55,000 miles, and for the last 5 years, it's only done 1,000 miles every single year. It's a really nice spec as well. I do love the Audi A8, as I've mentioned many, many times. It's got soft close as well. To prepare this for sale, we put 4 brand new Pirelli P0 tyres on it. It's been to the mechanics for a full engine service, all that sort of stuff. A clean MOT with no advisory items. It's just been to Prestige Wheels in Bredbury to have its wheels refurbished because they were quite badly curbed. And now, I mean, it's a 12-year-old car, that, but I think it looks $1 million. Right, this one's quite interesting. Take a look at this. Watch your shins on any tow bars. This might not look particularly exciting. It's a 2009 VW Polo, but here's the exciting part. It's done 14,000 miles. It's like a new car, that. I love buying stuff like that. That'll do somebody now for the next 5 years without a problem. Over here we've got the third Mokka. What's the collective term for a group of Mokkas? It's quite a good electric blue colour, this, actually. This is a facelift model, actually, with the later infotainment screen. Oh, this is a nice car, actually. We bought this the other day. I went to collect it. It's a 2015 Kia Sorento automatic. I really rate these cars, actually, as I've mentioned many times. They're a 7-seater. They're just really practical, very reliable, and I think quite a good-looking car. This one's a top-spec KX4 model, so it comes with everything. You've got heated electric seats, sat-nav, reverse camera, sunroof. They are genuinely good cars, those. They have a 2.2-litre CRD engine, which is chain driven and quite reliable. This is a nice car. Now, my brother was using this for a few months. You'll have seen it on the Christmas special video where we drove up to Glencoe in the green Range Rover. We started off the video in this. That's a beautiful car. It's a facelift 2015 Mercedes CLS. It's done 97,000 miles, but with excellent service history. I've had it to SPR for a full engine service. It's had a gearbox service, all that sort of stuff. This is one of those cars that I would gladly run myself. We have a forecourt full of Mokkas and Dukes and all that sort of stuff which don't do anything for me. But something like this is a bit of me. This is the CLS 350, so it uses a 3-litre V6 turbo diesel engine. And it's quite a good engine. There was an issue, actually. The engine light came on and it was a NOx sensor. So I had to take it to Mercedes Stockport, who, I don't know whether I should publicise this or not, they only charged me for the diagnostic. They quoted me £660 to replace the sensor, which I was quite pleased with because the last one I had cost me £1,000. Then when I went to pay my bill, they only charged me the diagnostic. They said that they'd spoken to Mercedes GB, it was quite a common issue, and they did it free of charge, which I was amazed about on a 9-year-old, 100,000 mile Mercedes. So, cheers, LSH Stockport, thank you. I really love the interior on these as well. Sadly, they're only a 4-seat, but they're pillarless, so makes up for it. And Ray Donovan had one. With this job, sometimes I pull my hair out. That has been here for about 6 months, and I don't know why. It's quite desirable, I think. It's in a good colour. It's like an Audi Nano Grey. It's a petrol. It's low mileage. It's got everything going for it. And yeah, it's just sat here and sat and sat and sat. Oh, this one's interesting. Right, I bought this from a YouTube viewer last week. It's a 2015 Skoda Yeti. Now, I'm a big fan of the Yeti. This one's got a lot going for it because it's automatic and it's 4-wheel drive. It's called a Black Edition, which I don't really know why because it's not black. But they're really good cars, these. It's got full service history, it's done 58,000 miles, the cam belt's been done. Yeah, it's a proper car. And I do genuinely rate those cars. If I were a bit more outdoorsy and stuff, I'd probably have something like that. In fact, no, I wouldn't. I'd just buy a Range Rover. We've got a 2019 automatic Toyota Aygo, which I think was here last time I did this tour. I don't know why. It's low mileage, it's automatic, but still there. This one's new, actually. This is a fresh piece of stock. It's a 2013 Suzuki Swift. Again, I rate these cars a lot as well. This one's only done 24,000 miles, I think. 26,000 miles. And I bought this off the previous owner, who was giving up driving, but it's been maintained by Suzuki every single year from day one. So that's great news. This one's been here now for 3 months, which I don't know why. It's quite desirable, I imagine. It's petrol. It's done 90,000 miles, which is a bit high, but it does make the price a bit more attractive. And yet, no interest at all. This little 2017 Seat Ibiza is quite a decent car, really. We sold it about 6 months ago and then had to buy it back because it had a fault. So we took it to Seat on St Mary's Way in Stockport. They put a new, I think it was a fuel pump or something that it needed. So it's now sorted and back up for sale at a bit of a loss. Anyway, you might think this is the same Vauxhall Adam as last time, but it's not. It's actually a different one. That was more of a bluey colour. This is more aubergine. The last one sold really quickly, so when I was offered this one, I thought, well, yeah, why not? Look at this. The key, I don't know why the keys are in it. I mean, you're not going to know how, are you? But someone's going to get shouted at. So that actually is going for a valet tomorrow. I bought it about 2 weeks ago. I haven't had a chance to valet it. It was quite clean, but it does want a proper clean. Now this Fiat, I'm going to have to buy this a birthday cake soon. I've had this nearly a year. I don't know why either. It's a Fiat 500X. It's done 50,000 miles. It's a 1.4 petrol. It's no different from any Mocha or Duke that I sell. It's quite a decent thing, really. And yeah, it's been sitting there for months and months and months. The Kia Soul EV you'll all be familiar with. I did a video with that recently where I lived with it for 7 days before seeing the error of my ways and going back to my Range Rover. That's only done 16,000 miles, and that was actually, yeah, it was. That featured in my last garage tour video as well. So used EVs don't sell particularly quickly, unfortunately. Over here, this one came in part exchange. This is a Renault Kadjar. And they're not bad cars, actually. I know I always slate French cars, but I don't mind some Renaults. It's kind of the thing that most people want, or most people have anyway. This is quite interesting. This is a 2017 Porsche Cayenne, but it's an e-hybrid, so it's a plug-in hybrid. This came in part exchange against I think it was a BMW X5, a later 2019 BMW X5. Sorry, should have done my research, shouldn't I? I think it was a 2019 or 20 BMW X5, and this came in part exchange against that. I should do a video with that, shouldn't I, really? I should apologise as well. I've got quite a few Nissan Dukes at the moment. They're not my favourite cars. So that one there is a blue one. And then over here, I rate these actually. This one came in part exchange. This is a Renault Clio. This is a 2015 Renault Clio. Now, this era, which ran from 2014, are quite solid cars. I particularly like the 0.9 litre TCE engine. This one's the 1.5 turbo diesel, which is all right. It's free to tax. It does 60 miles per gallon or more. It's all right. If you're thinking the Seat Ateca behind me looks familiar, that's because it is. I've had this for about 6 months. I had no interest in it at all, which again is quite weird because it's what most people drive. If you ever look out there, everyone's got some sort of crossover vehicle like that. Anyway, Nissan Qashqai, they always sell really well. This only arrived yesterday actually, so this is a 2019 Suzuki Ignis. Now I think, well, it's hideous, isn't it? It's a tragic looking car. Particularly, I don't know what's going on here. I don't know what this is. But I've noticed these are really popular in Caribbean countries, and I don't really know why that is, but they are. This is a petrol automatic, so in theory, it should be quite good news. They're a little bit higher off the ground, so they're easy to get in and out of, you know? And I quite like Suzukis. They're quite a funky, trendy brand. This one's interesting. This one arrived last week. Now it's a 330 diesel, so it's a 3 litre straight 6 turbo diesel, automatic. It's done 90,000 miles, but you'd never know. It's finished in Estoril blue with a full black Dakota leather interior. That, again, a bit like the CLS, is something that I'd gladly go home in. It's a late 2016 66 reg with 91,000 miles on the clock. They're such a good driver's car, those. They've got that 8-speed ZF automatic gearbox. It just is a really good all-rounder. This little automatic Yaris arrived today. I went to the lads at Tameside Detailing to pick it up. When we bought it, it'd been sitting on someone's driveway for the best part of a year, and it was covered in moss, and it just looked a bit flat. So it's had a proper good buff, and it's come up looking like a new pin. It's a full automatic rather than a semi-automatic, which is more reliable, and it's only done 30,000 miles. It's that little 1.33 litre petrol. That is about as desirable as things get. The good thing is it won't break. We'll sell it to somebody. It has a decent profit margin in it, and we should hopefully get a decent part exchange, probably a slightly older one of those. Over here we've got the 2014 Nissan Leaf that I did a video with recently, and I can't show you, hang on a second. They're so tightly packed in at the moment. Ordered a parcel show for it, which hadn't arrived for my video, but it has now. And also a set of mats. So I bought some tailored mats for it. Stupidly, I don't know why, but I ordered 2 sets. I think I tapped it twice, which is a bit of an issue. But I've got a spare set now for the next time I buy a Leaf. Leave me alone, I'm not good with technology. After I did the video with the Nissan Leaf, I got lots of comments from people saying if it's only got 6 bars of its battery and it's still under 8 years old, Nissan will correct it. So I called Westway Nissan and it's booked in there next Monday, I think. They're going to diagnose it and hopefully correct it. I think it's a software issue, and I think I should get my battery health then back to 9 bars, I think, out of 12. So if that's the case, it should increase its range by 25-30 miles. So I've got my fingers crossed there. Over here, this is my mum's Lexus NX 300h Premier spec. I've had this, well, I bought it back off the previous owner back in, I think, October last year. And I've sold it about 5 times. And every single time the deal's fallen through, which is really frustrating because it's a genuinely good car. I've had it serviced at Lexus Stockport, so it's got full Lexus service history. It's got 12 months MOT. I know that car inside and out, and I know it's a decent one. And yet, it's still here. I think people are really cautious about buying used EVs and used hybrids. I think they're just worried about the battery health. But with Lexus and Toyota, every time you service a car with them, they give you a battery health check, which this has got. So, you know, it's good for another 12 months, and yet still, it still sits here. Now behind me, in an unusual colour, but I quite like it, is a 2019 Mercedes GLE 400D. It's a really nice car, this. I'm going to do a should you buy video with it this week, because I've been very impressed with it. The technology and the infotainment stuff is superb, and it's just a really nice car to drive. It feels really chunky, and it feels quite quick. Wasn't what I was expecting. So I will do a should you buy video with that. Over here, now I don't really like these. I wish they'd called it something else. It's a BMW 2 Series Active Touring. Now, confusingly, they also do a 2 Series Coupe. I don't know what they were thinking of, to be honest. But if you want a practical MPV and you also want a BMW, I suppose that's your only option. This one's a 2-litre diesel. We've just put a brand new turbo on it because the old one was leaking. So it's all prepped and ready to go. And it isn't a bad car. It's quite a decent car, actually. My main issue with it is the name and the badging. It doesn't really make any sense. But it is a proper 7-seater, as is this VW Touran. Now this is a 7-seat Touran, automatic, 2-litre diesel. Not much else to tell you really, is there? I've also got several exciting cars arriving next week, which you'll see in due course. And I think that's about it. So thank you once again for watching. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring today's video. And make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And I'll see you next time. Cheers, guys.